My name is Steve Smith. This is TQA Weekly. If ever you have any questions, comments, suggestions for topics of your own, just email me at ask@tqaweekly.com. Go to my brand new website, tqaweekly.com, where it actually functions on everything, whether it be your cell phone, your tablet, your desktop, your laptop, doesn't matter. You can go there now and email me directly from the contact form and even interact with others, as well as if you're already on YouTube, you can already do it down below. And if you want to help me make this show better, go to patreon.com/TQA Weekly and become a patron of the show. And for being a patron of the show, you will get this show 24 to 48 hours in advance, on top of other benefits that you get. And all you have to do is go and read what I set up for you all. The link is down below in the description if you're on YouTube. And of course, today's topic is about your screen versus work of art. Okay, for those who don't already know this, I'm an artist as well as a programmer and podcaster. So at the end of the day, I can actually understand this from both sides. So being somebody who knows all about safety and security and how the internet works and programming and how art works and how the artist themselves has a message and experience that you have to actually understand or feel for yourself, I can understand both sides of this, which allows me to at least analyze this from both sides. And I want to know what you think. But at the end of the day, I want you to understand why I think that some of these tools need to be replaced with something a little bit more refined. So the internet is full of websites that are designed to function in virtually any browser, platform, and device. There's a reason for this. This is made possible by standards that span all of these, that allow us to use the brand new standards on the internet, such as HTML5, CSS3, XML, and a bunch of other different languages on there. Otherwise, making a website would simply be too complicated, especially making a mobile website themselves. And there was a time when Internet Explorer was being used exclusively in businesses until Microsoft decided, out of their really late infinite wisdom, according to my own point of view, to finally banish Internet Explorer, and finally this year, all of Internet Explorer, to the deep ether of hell, because making websites for today's audience is already hard enough without having to make websites backwards compatible. And even if you could detect the old browser and a new browser and bring them to a different website, for those who didn't already know that, that could be just as expensive as one website times two. So why would you even bother anymore? Even I have stopped making websites backwards compatibles. That's simple. If your website experience is degraded because you go onto a website of mine because your browser's too old, I simply do not care. Upgrade, because upgrading brings you to what is the expected experience of the audience from the designer's point of view. And we have access to Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Apple Safari, Microsoft Edge, and a bunch of other latest browsers with today's web standards. And a lot of these standards are focused around HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, which I'm actually using on my website, jQuery, which I also trying to use on my website, Ajax, which is used, XML, Angular, and a whole bunch of other technologies, a lot of which either allow for the implementation or require the implementation of JavaScript, which brings me to my most notable point of my thought process, which is the internet has a lot of bastards out there that are willing to infect your computer using a JavaScript, Java, Flash, whatever vector. And it comes down to a logic point of view where there is a reason why NoScript, ScriptSafe, Script Blocker, even the option to turn off JavaScript itself in a browser exists, and is for security reasoning. However, this means that functions like onload, mouse over, onclick, things that are user environmental that allow for the user themselves to experience the website the designer intended, that work of art, the way that it functions and flows, because that stuff turns everything off. The entire experience of the website is now completely changed, and a lot of websites just outright fail. If I turn JavaScript off on my brand new website, it just does not work. End of story. Because to be mobile friendly and to turn off JavaScript is not really all that easy. It is possible, but a lot of people that are paranoid will literally turn everything off. Even the indicators in the metadata that tell us which browser and resolution you have that would make it maybe a little easier to actually make the website load correctly, even that's all turned off in some cases. So the entire experience of the website is changed. So what actually comes to mind is when somebody like me programs these websites, we actually don't necessarily like ad blockers and NoScript and all this because it changes our work of art. It's like taking the Mona Lisa and painting her hair blonde simply because you loaded it on your screen and it actually didn't please you. We know that you don't get a choice in the way a work of art is actually presented themselves. It's the artist's prerogative of how he painted that painting, took that picture, or built that building. But on the computer screen, we seem to think that it's irrelevant with other things, even though you accessed their website. So what I'm actually thinking about is there is a severe lack of logic when we come out to this. A lot of developers outright block things that are also useful. JavaScript is not a tool of the enemy. It is something that is allowing us to actually experience the internet as it's supposed to be because that's how the developer of said website did it. What we need are more refined tools that block third-party activation of files. So basically, executable files that would be loaded that might actually infect your computer, or tasks that might actually be harmful to your computer. Because here's the thing, they're based in languages. And if you know anything about languages, you know that it is very easy to predetermine the series of commands that actually allow for the loading of files into the browser. And if we had a tool so refined that it can allow all the good stuff to come in and just block stuff from entering the page after, such as an executable file, then you would get both the benefit of the work of art, the user experience intended, as well as all the safety. And am I really all that far off from wanting technology to progress and maintain that user experience all the way through every browser, every platform, and every device? I don't think so. But what do you think? Write it down below. And if you like this episode, like it, share it if you think it's cool. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And of course, you can always email me your questions, comments, and suggestions for topics at ask@tqaweekly.com. And don't forget to go to my Patreon at patreon.com/tqaweekly. For those on YouTube, it is also down below. Otherwise, go to the Support Us page on my website, tqaweekly.com. Goodbye.